The air in the ballroom was thick with the scent of expensive perfume and the quiet hum of whispered gossip. As Sandra Bullock stepped inside, poised and elegant, the high society women turned their scrutinizing eyes on her, assessing, judging, and within seconds, deciding she didn't belong. They didn't know that Keanu Reeves was watching. And they had no idea what was coming next. The charity gala surprise. The ballroom of the St. Regis Hotel in New York was an ocean of shimmering gowns, glittering jewelry, and the hushed murmur of high society women exchanging polite pleasantries, laced with hidden barbs. Tonight's charity gala was the event of the season, a night where the rich flaunted their wealth under the guise of generosity. Sandra Bullock, graceful as ever, stepped into the room wearing a sleek black evening gown, her hair pulled into an elegant updo. She had been invited as a guest of honor for her contributions to various humanitarian causes, but she knew how these events worked. Hollywood might have its own brand of exclusivity, but high society was a different beast, one where old money reigned supreme and outsiders were scrutinized. She had barely taken a few steps inside when the whispers started. Who invited her? A woman in a sapphire blue gown murmured behind a champagne flute. I heard she donates, but you know how it is, another chimed in, waving a manicured hand. Actresses always want to play philanthropist, but they'll never be asterisk. One of us. Sandra ignored the murmurs, as she had long learned to do, and made her way toward the bar. But just as she reached for a glass of champagne, a woman deliberately stepped in front of her. Eleanor Van Alden. An heiress to a vast real estate empire, Eleanor was one of the most influential women in New York's elite circles. Always impeccably dressed and wielding a sharp tongue, she had built her social standing not just on wealth but on her ability to cut others down with a single glance. "Well, well," Eleanor purred, eyes scanning Sandra from head to toe. "I didn't expect to see you here." Sandra met her gaze with an easy smile. "Nice to see you too, Eleanor." "Oh, I'm sure," Eleanor smirked, turning to the women around her, her inner circle of equally wealthy and equally ruthless socialites. "I suppose it's interesting that we have a movie star in attendance tonight. Charity events usually attract real philanthropists." The women around her chuckled. Sandra remained poised. "I believe charity is about helping others, not about who gets credit for it." Eleanor raised a sculpted brow. Spoken like someone who doesn't understand real philanthropy. It's not just about throwing money at a cause. It's about belonging to a legacy of giving. But I suppose Hollywood teaches its own version of generosity when it's convenient. The insult was clear. Sandra sipped her champagne, refusing to engage in the petty power play. She had faced worse in Hollywood, and she certainly wasn't going to let a handful of bored, wealthy women rattle her. But they weren't done. "Oh, Eleanor," one of the other women, a blonde draped in a diamond necklace worth more than a sports car, said with mock concern, "You shouldn't be so harsh. She tries. In her own way. Like that little donation she made to disaster relief last year." Eleanor feigned surprise. "Oh, that's right. What was it? $1 million. She tilted her head. "Adorable." The women laughed. To them, $1 million was pocket change, but they conveniently ignored the fact that Sandra had quietly donated millions over the years, without needing a headline for it. Sandra remained composed, but she could feel the weight of their condescension. And then a voice cut through the laughter. "Ladies, I hope I'm not interrupting." The room seemed to shift as Keanu Reeves stepped forward, his presence effortlessly commanding. Dressed in a classic black tuxedo, he exuded an air of quiet confidence that made heads turn. He had an easy smile, but there was a sharpness in his gaze as he looked at the women surrounding Sandra. Eleanor's demeanor changed instantly. "Keanu," she said, her voice suddenly warmer, flirtatious even. "What a surprise!" "I was just saying hello to my dear friend," Keanu said smoothly, placing a hand on Sandra's back in a gesture both protective and affectionate. "I hope she's been having a good time." Eleanor's smile faltered just slightly. "Oh, of course. We were just chatting about philanthropy." Keanu nodded, his expression unreadable. "Ah, philanthropy. Such an interesting topic. I was just thinking about true generosity. The kind that doesn't come with an invitation to a gala or a plaque with your name on it." The subtle jab wasn't lost on anyone. The laughter that had once filled the circle was gone, replaced by a stiff silence. Eleanor, ever the social tactician, recovered quickly. "Well, I suppose everyone has their own way of giving back." She turned to Sandra with an insincere smile. "No hard feelings, dear?" Sandra, who had remained quiet throughout the exchange, finally spoke. "None at all," she said, her voice smooth. Then she looked at Keanu with a knowing smile. "Shall we?" Keanu offered his arm, and she took it, allowing him to lead her away from the circle of women who suddenly found themselves without an audience. As they walked toward a quieter corner of the ballroom, Keanu leaned in slightly. "You okay?" he asked. Sandra smiled. "I've handled worse." He chuckled. "I know. But still, I don't like seeing people act that way toward you." "Rich society women and their egos," Sandra said, shaking her head. "They'll always look down on outsiders. It's just their way of making themselves feel important." Keanu nodded. "They forget that true importance isn't about money or status. It's about character." Sandra raised her glass. "To character, then." He clinked his glass against hers. "To character." And just like that, the evening went on, but the shift in the atmosphere was undeniable. Eleanor and her circle were quieter, their usual dominance of the social scene dulled by the knowledge that, tonight, they had been outclassed, not by wealth, but by something far more valuable. Character. And that was something money couldn't buy. Why true character matters more than status. In an age where wealth, social status, and influence often dictate a person's worth, the world witnessed a powerful moment of grace and authenticity when Keanu Reeves effortlessly shut down the condescension aimed at Sandra Bullock during an elite charity gala. This wasn't just another celebrity encounter. It was a lesson in integrity, humility, and the true meaning of generosity. The viral moment that exposed high society's hypocrisy. The ballroom of the St. Regis Hotel was filled with dazzling chandeliers, elegant gowns, and conversations dripping with hidden judgments. Sandra Bullock entered the gala with the same grace and confidence that made her one of Hollywood's most beloved actresses. However, she was quickly met with whispered gossip and dismissive glances from the so-called elite women in attendance. These were women who had grown up surrounded by generational wealth, women who believed that true philanthropy wasn't about giving, it was about belonging. To them, Sandra was just another actress playing philanthropist, someone who didn't have the right pedigree to be considered part of their exclusive circle. The condescending remarks came quickly. Hollywood stars love to donate, but real philanthropy is about legacy, dear. "Oh, that's cute. $1 million? That's barely a weekend's expenses." What these women failed to recognize was that true generosity isn't measured by the size of a donation, but by the intention behind it. Sandra Bullock has spent years giving quietly, supporting disaster relief, education initiatives, and children's charities without demanding attention or recognition. But in that moment, all these women saw was someone they considered an outsider, someone who didn't belong. Keanu Reeves steps in and shuts it down. Then, just as the insults were reaching their peak, Keanu Reeves entered the scene. With his signature quiet authority, he made it clear that he had been listening. Unlike the women surrounding Sandra, he didn't need to flaunt wealth or power. His presence alone commanded respect. True generosity isn't about invitations to elite galas or having a family name on a plaque. It's about giving without expecting something in return. The room went silent. In just a few words, Keanu had dismantled the illusion of superiority these women had built around themselves. Their wealth, their status, their attempts to humiliate Sandra, It all suddenly seemed hollow. Sandra, ever composed, simply smiled and took Keanu's arm as they walked away, leaving the so-called elite to reflect on the fact that they had just been outclassed, not by money, but by character. Why this moment resonated with millions. The internet exploded with reactions to this moment, not just because it involved two beloved Hollywood icons, but because it exposed a truth we all recognize. Money doesn't make you important. Character does. In a world where social status often defines how people are treated, this moment reminded us that real class isn't about wealth, it's about how you treat others. The women who mocked Sandra had money, but they lacked grace. Keanu and Sandra, on the other hand, had something far more valuable: authenticity, kindness, and humility. A lesson we can all learn from. This viral moment isn't just a feel-good celebrity story, it's a wake-up call. We live in a society obsessed with appearances, status, and material wealth. Social media bombards us with images of luxury, making many believe that success is measured by how expensive your clothes are or how exclusive your social circle is. But as Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock demonstrated, the people who truly matter in this world are those who lead with kindness, humility, and authenticity. So, ask yourself, are you surrounding yourself with people who value who you are rather than what you have? Do you judge others based on appearances, or do you take the time to see their character? Are you giving back for the right reasons, or do you expect recognition in return? Take action. Be the change. This viral moment isn't just about entertainment. It's a reminder that we all have the power to choose kindness over arrogance, generosity over status, and authenticity over pretension. Here's how you can be part of the change. 1. Practice true generosity. Give not for recognition, but because you want to help. Donate to causes that matter, support those in need, and do it quietly, without expecting applause. 2. Surround yourself with good people. Seek friendships and relationships based on values, not status. The best people in your life will lift you up, not tear you down. 3. Call out arrogance when you see it. Whether it's in your workplace, social circles, or online, don't be afraid to challenge elitist attitudes. Respect should be earned through character, not wealth. 4. Lead with kindness. You don't need to be rich or famous to make a difference. A kind word, a helping hand, or simply treating people with dignity can leave a lasting impact. Join the conversation. This moment has already resonated with millions. Now it's your turn to be part of the movement. Heavy checkmark comment below. What do you think about this viral moment? Have you ever experienced or witnessed arrogance from people who think status makes them superior? Heavy checkmark. Share this video with someone who needs a reminder that character matters more than wealth. Heavy checkmark. Tag a friend who embodies true generosity and kindness. Let's celebrate the people who make the world a better place. At the end of the day, money fades, status changes, and power shifts. But true character? That's forever.